So we'll start with our time. Okay. So principal play would be, like I just said, pace, right? So in these clips, um, we want defense or offense to shoot fairly quickly, right? And the way that we do that, and a lot of these teaching points are going to overlap here, is we want to isolate the ball from their teammates. So we were no middle in this situation. So, or in this season, we were no middle. You can see that we're denying passes. That was just part of our principles that we'll get to. But these are what we call zero pass possessions. We have players shooting in isolation. They're shooting quickly where we are being disruptive. We're not allowing these teams to run offense to get a shot. So we're making them make one-on-one moves to get a shot. And we'll see more of those later. But what I wanted to focus on here is it allows us to play quick because we don't have to guard for a long time. And if you're shooting quick shots, now the pace of the game is where we want it. We're getting a lot of possessions, which is the way we want it. That is our principle of play, right? That's our time, is we want the game to be up and down. Second principle of play are spots. Okay. So that's just a fancy word or a sticky way to say spacing. And we'll look at it in two ways here. One is we're going to limit you and make you play in a confined space. So on offense, we value spacing. So defense, we should be destroying space or disrupting space. So in all of these clips, you can just see the intentionality of not allowing the ball to the middle by our on-ball defenders. And that's how we would start installing our defense. I know we talked about it in the last podcast episode as well, but we will always start with guarding the ball and work our way out from the ball as far as installation goes. Another part of our spots and spacing would be ball movement. On offense, coaches value ball reversal, right? We want the ball to hit both sides of the floor. So defense, we want to lock it on one side of the floor by our on-ball defender, but also with our defenders one pass away. So we called this next, meaning I get the next pass. So you can see this player up top here is denying. This player on the bottom side is denying. And what we're doing, again, we're being really disruptive. That is a dribble into a shot, which we're going to get to our shots here in a little bit. But in the no middle defense, we wanted you to operate on half of the floor. So we only have to guard half of the floor. Our rotations become fewer and fewer. Offense values ball reversal. So defense, we should limit ball reversal. And that would be, I'm not here to speak down on any defense, but that would be why I would encourage coaches to play in the passing lanes rather than the gap, is because we're in coverage a whole lot less. One thing that has come up though, and even that I struggle with, and again, my role as a consultant, give you the pros and cons. If you wanted to push back and say, well, almost everybody gets into the paint by driving it into the paint, shouldn't we play in the gap? I wouldn't really fight you on that, but I would tell you, yes, but now you got to defend a whole lot of stuff. And we might not know where our help's going to come from, where the drive's going to come from. If we're cutting the floor and keeping it out of the middle and we're denying, we know where the drive's going to go, and we're just going to help from the low man instead of one pass away. So we've gone through, and I'm going quickly here, but two principles of play. So our time, we wanted our opponents to shoot quickly. Our spots, we wanted to constrict space, and we wanted your shots to come from our spots, meaning not from the middle if we're no middle. If we're lock left, we're not letting you get right-handed shots. And if you're pack line, not in the pack, right? We keep it out of the paint. So our shots could be, we forced our opponent into taking more threes than what we wanted. I know true pack line forces the ball to the middle as well. So maybe our spots in pack line would be middle, whatever it is, as long as it's principle based, right? Okay, so our shots. In these, we wanted, and I mentioned this earlier, we wanted offensive players to dribble into their shots, okay, and to play in isolation. What I didn't want is ball movement and action to generate high percentage shots, or what we'd call 9s and 7s. So in all these clips here, just note that players are dribbling into their shot. They're almost all in the outer thirds, and they're all those tough twos. Twos from outside the paint or mid-range pull-ups. They're all shots that we would not want our players to take. So our shots would be 9s and 7s. Your shots would be not those, right? 5s or below. Mid-range pull-ups, runners outside the paint. And then I'll look at it from this way too, and it might go to the installation stuff that we'll get to. If you're thinking about, okay, so how would I work on this in practice? Think about it this way: is one, I would focus on transition defense. Two, take away nines. Three, take away sevens. Four, take away the stuff that they like or the stuff that they run. So we'll kind of go through how we take away nines here. Is one, we always want to start with on the ball defense, right? But what we're really going to highlight here is our help. Okay. If we are very clear in our teaching, we know exactly where the ball is going to be driven. For us, it should be to the outer thirds, and then we should know who the helper is. It's almost always going to come from the low man. We didn't help ball side because a principle, our shots, is we don't allow catch and shoot threes. I feel like if you help ball side, you're either going to give up a catch and shoot three or put your player in a closeout. Offense, we want an advantage. What's an advantage? A closeout. So defense, we want to stay out of closeout. So we didn't help ball side. We usually helped from the low man. Okay. So the clips here, you're seeing drives in the outer third with very clear help. So all of our players had the ability to single task. In this case, if you're guarding the ball, your principle is no middle. If you're one pass away, your only job is no easy catches. You have the next pass. You're limiting ball movement. That is the only job that you have. And then if neither one of those apply, if I'm not guarding the ball, if I'm not one pass away, I know that I'm helping on the drive. Drives are going to occur way more frequently than passes because we are in the passing lane. So we can all kind of load up, single task. In that possession, we had two really good help examples. I would operate with this sticky language. Every drive is a pass. Okay. So every time somebody puts it on the floor, I wanted my help defenders thinking my job is to force a pass on the drive and not contest a shot. How we did that was put our chest right in front of the drive. In that last video, you saw two really good examples. The first one, we had a charge attempt. The second one, they just kind of dribbled right into us and took a really tough shot. We weren't necessarily hunting charges because I didn't want my players to think, go get a charge. I think that leads to a lot of blocking fouls, sliding under. It was force a pass, get the ball out of their hands. If they choose to take a bad shot, well, then that's our shot, and we're rebounding and running. Okay, so that's how we took away nines. Obviously, you run ball defense, but we really highlighted there as help. Second thing is how we take away sevens. Again, sevens being big advantage threes, is we wanted to close off. A question I get a lot is how do you teach closeouts? We honestly really didn't teach any technique on closeouts. It was make them dribble. So every catch is a dribble. That's how we take away sevens. Every dribble is a pass. That's how we take away nines. So just a few clips here of us closing off the line. We did not arrive with the intent to contest a shot. We wanted to eliminate shots. Last thing I'll say on close offs. I actually had a conversation with the coach earlier. He was like, "Hey, next time next time we meet, I want to talk closeouts." I'm like, "Well, it'll be a really quick conversation." The way we taught it was, like I said, every catch is a dribble. And how did I know if I did that? Obviously, really measurable if they dribbled. But if somebody gave up, if somebody caught where they shot where they caught the ball, we knew we weren't being disruptive. We were either late or we didn't go far enough. I don't teach choppy feet. I don't teach any specific footwork. It is go as close as you possibly can to eliminate the shot, make them put it on the floor, whatever that feels right for you. It's usually going to be some kind of speed stop, hockey stop, stride stop. Think about it this way for coaches that might be hanging on the choppy feet closeouts. I'll just offer this. When you're running sprints and your players have to run on to one baseline or one sideline and touch the line and turn and go the other way as quickly as possible, none of your players go choppy feet, right? Because it's really not the fastest way to stop and change direction and move. However that feels nice and comfortable to them, natural to them, that's what I would encourage. So again, teach more principle based. Did they catch and shoot? Yes, then our closeout wasn't good. I don't care really how the technique got us there. I have one transition clip that I wanted to share in here. On offense, our shots, we hunt nines first, sevens second. Okay, so we hunt layups first, threes second. We're in black here if you're watching the film. So defensively in transition, we take away nines first. Thought this was a really nice look at running with depth first. We have 3 players running to the rim. We got 1 player on the ball. They're all taking away the rim first. And then we take away sevens. This player that trailed the play came in. We were in a little 5-on-4 disadvantage here. Eliminates the shot. No one shoots where they catch. Every catch is a dribble. When he puts it on the floor, we get a travel. So that's the way that we would disrupt offenses, is just we're going to try to break you down instead of you trying to break us down. So we're taking the fight to you. Okay. So that was transition D. We talked nines, taking those away. We talked about taking away sevens. Spend a few minutes here talking about taking away stuff that they like. I would encourage coaches when they're formulating game plan or trying to plan their practice, just think about what's going to happen the most. This team really likes DHOs or ball screens or off ball screens. Just focus on those. What's going to happen the most? That's what we're going to spend our time on. We're going to switch everything, but this is going to help us plan our practice in terms of, do we need to practice switching ball screens, or what actions do we need to go deep on as far as what we're going to switch? Goal of offense, how do we generate nines and sevens, is we bring 2 to the ball. That's why I'm a big proponent of switching. Switching, I think, is one of the easiest way to keep 1 defender on the ball. Even if it's not the best matchup in the world, I would rather have 1 defender on the ball and it not be the ideal matchup rather than to have 2 defenders on the ball. Because once you bring 2 to the ball, now you're at a disadvantage. If offense takes advantage of advantage, the possession is over. Hopefully not with a 9 or 7, but if you're in rotation, you might be giving up shots that they want, and it takes you out of rebounding rotation. So that would be another proponent for switching as well, is the more we switch, the more we keep 1 on the ball, then our rebounding rotations become easier as well. So if you're a team that struggles to rebound, maybe you don't need more rebounding drills. Maybe you need to design defense to stay out of rotation. I don't know, right? All right, so a couple more clips here on switching. You can see we have a switch here at the bottom of the screen. We always wanted to switch to deny. Again, that goes back to our principle of we limit ball movement. Get our catch. I really like our angle on the ball here. Okay, so no middle. We're cutting the floor. Up here, we've got denial. So we're taking away ball movement, here on the bottom near side. And then we get a nice triple switch up here. So we switch this action between these 2 players, and then now these top 2 defenders on the weak side will switch as well. Really nice switch to deny. So in these clips, and really if we went back and watched any of these clips again, I would hope you'd see all of our principles at play. I'll go through this. This might be the last one here. So I'll just kind of talk through this whole thing here. One thing I would say in this possession here, I would rather a little bit more ball pressure, because I think if this ball handler wanted to get middle, they likely could. So I don't know that we're in the best position to keep the ball in our spots, which would be no middle, but the angle is pretty good. I like the deny down here. I like the deny at the top. I like the deny in the post. I think against when you play us, what I want the ball handler to think is, I can't shoot, I can't pass, so I guess I have to drive, and we're all loading up and single tasking and stopping the drive. All right, one more possession. Nice angle on the ball. Really love this next position here. We got an arm in the passing lane. Watching film, you know he's in denial. Pretty good position up top, and I like our post position here. So we've got 1 player guarding the ball. We've got 3 players that are 1 pass away. The 1 player on the floor that ball or next doesn't apply to is help. So all this player at the basket is thinking is, my teammate on the ball is going to press up and allow and not allow a middle drive. So I know the drive's coming to the outer thirds. My other 3 teammates are denying passes, so I'm going to start to anticipate a drive to the rim. In this case, we get a ball screen here. So stuff they like would be ball screen. This is their main way they're going to try to create advantage. We iced or downed ball screens. And we did that because it fit our principle. It fit our spots, where if we're going to take you out of the middle third, ice would be a way that we would do that. I think when everything fits into its principle, as far as switching goes or defending ball screens, defending DHOs, if the answer to everything is no middle, then your coverages become really, really easy for you to pick and for your players to understand. So that would be my argument for principle based defense. Our shots, our spots, our time. We did not talk our people. You can always adjust for personnel. So, what if we have a player that doesn't shoot the three well? Do we really have to close them off? No. We might want them to shoot the three. That might be our shot, right? If we can bait number 5 on the other team to shoot 5 threes this game, that's awesome. But you also may not have to close out as far on that player because they're less likely to shoot threes anyway. And then another way you would adjust for personnel or for our people would be, how do we take their best player and bait them into their least efficient part of their game? I think if you're facing a truly dominant or, quote unquote best player, you're probably not going to shut them down, but pick the shots that you would rather them take and design your game plan to bait them into those shots.